Energized Show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Forge Irish Stout and Aura Kings Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
Introduce the guest, man.
Today we are bringing you the fighting pride of Drogheda. It is the one and only undefeated Kieron Clark. Kieron, how's the form, bud?
Oh, it's good, lads. Feeling great, and thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you back on, bud.
Anytime. Great to see you. We're back going on a plane fighting for Bellator. It's been a hot minute since you've done it. You're fighting over on the Bellator card in London. And look, I don't think many people more than us two have said Kieron needs to step up in competition. He needs to be fighting guys. He's 9-0, but not only is he 9-0, he's 9-0 under the Bellator promotion. I feel like you're getting a bit of a step up this time out. Well, in terms of record anyway. Do you feel that, Kieron?
Yeah, definitely. I think, to be honest with you, I just think it's on paper, to be honest with you, lads. I don't, not about the opponent, I think the previous lads, I just think on records, like, it doesn't really kind of reflect how good the lads are and stuff. I know fine well how good they are and stuff. So, yeah, as far as record-wise, I mean, this fella is right up there, and I think I highly rate him. He's a good lad. One of his losses, he redeemed himself, come back and got the win against the guy, and yeah, no, I think it is a step up. I think maybe on paper it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting maybe, like, I seen Danny Sabatello was calling me out and all that, and I was kind of like in my head, like, I was like, right, I'm preparing for this lad, you know, the fight, like, without the fight being announced or anything, but I was like, you know, I was like preparing from Southpaw wrestler, and you know, so I was like, that was maybe a name that was, you know, because the way he was going at me, I was like, lovely. Well, he wants to fight me. They sent me that's the fight to make. You know what I mean? That so I was expecting something like that. And again, on paper, you know, Danny's, you know, he was ranked top 5 Bellator before he fought for the interim title. You know, went the distance with Rafi and Stotts, all this, you know, and how good he is and stuff. And then I get my opponent now, and he's 12-3. And again, like I said, I know how good he is, but on paper, I might not have been like, you know, because what they were saying, like the next lad. But I definitely do think it's a step up in that sense. And I think record-wise, you know, and it gets me to, you know, the next challenges, I suppose.
Yeah, and obviously that would this win will send you 10-0. Danny Sabatello is someone who has no problem running his mouth. Everyone you fought so far
promo
has been quite respectful. Is that something that you'd relish, fighting someone who is going to put such a massive spotlight on the fight by running their mouth?
Yeah, I think it'd be exciting. Yeah, I think it'd be good. Like, it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. I just think, you know, he definitely is, like, you know, a mouthpiece like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just think that'd be probably kind of more of a, you know, people would probably say that's more of a mental battle, that fight. You know, I'd say it's a spiritual one. You know, I think that's where I'd relish that challenge, to be honest. And like I said, I'm not looking too far ahead. I have to beat this fella now on Saturday to be thinking anything, you know, any of these lads, you know what I mean? And I know how good my opponent is and how good Danny is and all these lads that are ahead of me. And but like that, just staying focused and what's in front of me is Saturday, you know.
And Kieron, obviously you're quite a humble guy, and normally you're very, very respectful. Do you think on the mic afterwards, Danny Sabatello's name could come out of your mouth? Do you think you could put the finger back and point it in his chest and say, "I want you"?
No, I've put it out there every time that you know, I'm in the big leagues, I'm in Bellator. I've never said no to a fight, so that's to anybody, you know what I mean? Like, just for argument's sake, if, like, just, you know, obviously it's not going to happen, but I win my next fight Saturday, and you know, like I said, whatever the case may be, it was like, Patchy Mix bantamweight champion next. Is like, I'm saying, no matter who they give me, if that's the next challenge, I'm going to say yes to it, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, you know, that's where I'm at. Why in the sport if you're going to be saying no? And I get, like, lads, I've said it before, building records, and, you know, because it is unfortunate, the sport we're in, it's all about a record. You could be 6-0 and beating, you know, lads that nobody knows. The record's poor, and next day you get a contender series fight, you're in the UFC, and bang, there you go. Or you know, whatever. That's the way we work. You know what I mean? That's the way the matchmakers look at. Whereas, I'm not doing that. I'm in Bellator. It's my 10th Bellator fight. I'm going for 10 in a row. I'd say it would be I think it might be the longest winning streak in the whole company. So I think, if that was what they thought was next, well, then that's what's next, and that's what I'm for. That's it. Yes, so like I said, I never said no. If I could show you my conversations with John, we have a kind of a joke. He's like, he sends me the opponent, I just say yes, and he's like, he laughs, and he's like, one day I'm gonna get you to say no, and he's laughing, and it's just like, but like that is again, I'm a fighter, you know what I mean? Like, why am I in the sport if we're gonna be saying no to this lad or that lad? And of course, I'm gonna back myself, back your team, and to take on anyone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Ciaran,
go on, Baz.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna jump in there and say, like, when Bellator first started coming to Dublin, and then obviously you made your debut there, you were literally one of the guys that has gone from obviously like making your debut all the way up now to 9-0, about to go 10-0 this weekend. Like, you are literally like the product what they were hoping for, wasn't you, Ross?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you've obviously have a massive following in Drogheda. You do a lot of good work out of Drogheda. They've helped you in some ways spotlight that. Obviously, you brought out the documentary as well, which was incredible. Relentless, am I right? Yeah, just want to make sure I called the right thing. And like, you know what I mean? You've really grown with Bellator from the start, but obviously they put a lot of faith in you from the get-go. Do you feel that? Do you feel like Bellator are really helping try build you and make you into a star of your own?
I think I earned my dues, to be honest. If you look at my, look, first of all, I got the opportunity, which is absolutely amazing. That's down to like the relationship with John has with Bellator and SBG. That they knew there was something there to bring up, and obviously I stayed amateur long enough that was, I fought, on the IMAP so many times and had so many amateur fights, and which it wasn't a thing back then that people had having that many, and so it paid off for me. But make no mistake, like my first fight, I fought at 12 o'clock at night. I was the swing belt. I was like, I was the blue corner. I was fighting a guy that had fought in Bellator already that made his debut, which was George Corney. I was the blue corner. I'd sold 300 tickets that fight. I was the swing belt. I fought at 12 o'clock at night that night.
Yeah, I actually remember that. We were there.
Yeah, the cleaners were in sweeping up the drink. You know what I mean? Like, it was,
Drogheda was still there.
Yeah, Drogheda was still there, but like everybody was gone home. You know what I mean? Nobody thought like it was on. You know what I mean? So I fought at 12 o'clock at night. I was locked in the place after it, and then my second fight. Then I was fighting a prospect from England, Jamie Falden, a black belt. He was on Joe Rogan. He wasn't on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was like, pulling up his clips, how good he was. He was undefeated amateur pro. He was, not to say anything, but I knew the reactions I was getting off Bellator, that it was like, that was amazing, man. And I was like, yeah, well, I won the fight, like, and they're like, no, that was amazing. And I was like, yeah, well, what did you like? I got them vibes. And then my third fight, I fought John and Dye, who's coming back from
he was 8-1 at the time.
8-1 at the time. Fought him in Paris. He back in 2011 or 12, he was supposed to fight Conor for the featherweight world title. They were supposed to fight. I was a tune-up fight for him. I'm fully aware of all this. And again, like, that's the challenge of the talk and stuff, but it's not to be like bigging myself around, but like, he's asked me, like, I earned me dues at Bellator, you know what I mean? Then it was like,
absolutely,
I done all these things, then it was like, okay, right, he is a lad we can get behind. But it wasn't like off the bat like that like throwing me lads that, like, look at me lads who was fighting, they're no losing records ever. The people I'm fighting, you know what I mean, like that on paper, but you look into them, do you know what I mean? It wasn't like as if it was a 0-5 guy, or it was you know what I mean? It was none of this crack, the way. So
and the fights were very exciting as well, Kieran, by the way. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. So I earned my dues, and I was selling tickets, and that's down to me support. They have nothing to do with me, you know what I mean? If it could have been anyone from Drogheda in there, they got behind me, and so that's it, like,
absolutely. And I think part of people like us who are wanting the push for you harder and move you further up in the rankings is because of that, like, tough start. Like, I always say that, like, in Doi is like one of the best wins on your record. You know what I mean? And I was like, I feel like maybe your 5th and 6th fight in Doi was better than those guys, like on paper, as you say. And I'm like, this guy needs to move on. You know what I mean? But like, obviously, like you say, you've earned your dues, and like I feel like we feel that from watching as well. We're like, what more can this guy do? We want to see you get in, like, basically more. It's not even necessarily, you know, you have to be fighting Patchy Mix or something next. We just want to see you in a nice spotlight bout where like you're fighting the big guys. And like, again, as much as we love seeing you fight in Dublin like this in the London series, you're fighting outside of Dublin as well. Like you've earned your dues to also be like, right, like I'm not just a ticket seller in Dublin, I'm also a top bantamweight in Bellator. So therefore, I should be fighting more frequently and on the cards outside of Ireland.
Yeah, that's it. Look, we're here now. I've called for it, and you know, I wanted to get out of Dublin, and like that. I've said it before. You know, sound like a parrot, but it's like it builds the buzz coming back to Dublin then. Whereas if it's just like the same generic thing, it's just, I even noticed myself selling tickets at the time. It was like, you know, and everybody this time is like, where's Dublin? I'm like, no, it's actually in London and Wembley. Oh, no way, that's unreal. And it's like, so it's not in Dublin. And I'm like, no, like you know, so, oh, this is your first one abroad? I'm like, no, I actually fought Paris. Yeah. You know, and then it's like, I fought all over the world. I fought in Vegas and Bahrain and Romania and all over the world in amateur. You know, so, you know, it's refreshing. It's exciting. It's great. I'm getting, you know, 50, 60 people. I think it could be more even going over to London for me. It's unreal, like, you know, so they're all buzzing. It's great, you know what I mean? You know, me nanny hasn't shut up about him, and she, you know, fighting tooth and nail to get over to this, and she's just, you know, the 10th one in Wembley, and it's just very exciting, you know what I mean? And that's what I wanted. And like that, if Dublin is in cards next year or whatever it is, then it's like, it builds that kind of, oh, the lads are fighting, and Dara's after getting a win, and Kieron got a win, or, you know, they're coming back to Dublin, and, you know, so that's what I felt it needed, you know.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's great to see. As we had Dara on last week. Dara's going to be fighting over there as well. He's doing like he's happy to be fighting outside of Ireland as well. Not as if like you lads don't love fighting in Ireland. It's just like it's something new for the fans. It doesn't seem like it's almost like the same card getting like turned out every week. And obviously the way they're bringing you over to London, it means like they're like pushing you as well. That's what I get from it, Ross. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, well, that's what we're asking more than anything else. Just give the guys the backing that they've earned. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, we were saying to Dara, like, he was on ESPN's 25 under 25, and we were like, right, like, you've been told by external MMA bodies that you have a superstar, so like build them like a superstar, and then like us. Like Kieron, like the amount of like comeback wins you've had over those 9 fights, or the amount of times where like they've been close fights, but then like you just absolutely like turn into a different human being come like the you know, the end of the second or the end of the third, whatever you get the finish is like incredible. Like there's no such thing as a boring Kieron Clark fight.
No one's in the jacks for a Kieron Clark fight.
Yeah, no one's in the jacks for a Kieron Clark fight is right. Like we were saying, we just want to see you get the recognition you deserve, and like here we are. We're now over in London. We're going to be fighting away from home. Obviously, you've done that loads of times in your amateur career. You've fought IMAFs all over the world. You've fought some unbelievable names in the IMAFs and unbelievable names on the regional scene. You've really like, it's almost like you're the perfect example of someone who had like a large record with some wins and losses at amateur, and now you've turned pro. You really honed your game before you've done it, and look where you are now. I know you're not one for calling names, and we've talked about Danny Sabatello and stuff like that, but how many wins would you say you are away from getting towards a title shot? Because obviously you win here, you'll have to be 10 wins with the promotion. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think if you got to 11, 12 wins, you know, I mean, it would have to be undeniable that you'd have to be close to a title shot, no?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, but I think that's this fight then, you know, please God, going well, got the win. Then it's like a known fighter, and not like someone that they knew, like everybody knows, or like a name, you know what I mean? And then from there, then they could say, because again, it's, like I said, it's all about records and names, you know what I mean? You know, so if that was the case, then I think maybe, you know, pick one or two wins there, then it could be, you know what I mean? So yeah, that could be the case. I don't know, you know, the way. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm just kind of looking, you know, I'm just have the blinkers on for Saturday, you know.
No, absolutely. And tell us this also. Obviously, PFL with the acquisition there, obviously they became owners of Bellator. Would it bother you to fight under the PFL banner? I know obviously we've seen Nathan Kelly fight under both, and we've seen Nate Kelly fight under both. We've seen a few fight under both. Does it really matter, make any difference to you whether it's Bellator or PFL you're fighting under?
No, it doesn't. No, I think like as long as if you know, I'm under contract with them, so I mean, I'm sure it's just the same. You know what I mean? But you know, if they made an inaugural, because it'd be the first time they'd be introducing a new weight class, because they don't have bantamweights in PFL. Maybe they did a tournament there next year or something. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, I actually think Patrick Mix is the best bantamweight in the world. I think he beat Sugar Sean and Marab. I think he's the best. I think he's the best. Bellator have the best bantamweight in the world, to be honest. And I think the depth, top 10 Bellator, like you're talking, like, you know, some of the lads there, they're top 10 UFC. Look, that Magomedov, and you know who else? There's that guy that's fighting your man next. He just won the #1 contender fight. Like, they're top lads, you know, and that tournament would be some of the best bantamweights in the world, you know. So that's what I believe. And again, that's a stacked division in the UFC. I think maybe, you know, lower level, mid level UFC, there's more depth, but the top boys, they're all nicking wins off each other in the UFC even. And like I said, I think Patrick Mix is that good, you know. So, but like I said, as far as that tournament, that really interests me, you know. It'd be like, right, you have this month, this month, you're fighting that time. It's like a schedule, you know, type of way that would really suit me, you know. And it actually really suit me, Gareth and Lauren as well. If we could actually have a bit of a life and kind of, you know, book in advance. You know what I mean? You know, things like that. You know what I mean? Like, say it's the holidays or whatever, just normal things. You know, whereas when you have obviously being the life that you chose, and I wouldn't change it, but it's like, you know, well, you can't look too far ahead because you might have a fight or you might have this or that, and you know, your life is on hold. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's what I chose, but other people around me suffer for my life, if that makes sense. And that's what people don't realize being a fighter. Like, everybody around you, it's not just you, like, it's everybody around you suffers in that sense. And then, you know, when you're down the rats or whatever, you're cutting weight or whatever, and you know, if you're tired, like, you know, does that make sense? So it's collectively as a whole, it is tough on everyone, but I'd love that schedule then, you know what I mean, because it'd work out, like, you know.
Yeah, but by the way, the like 9-0 seems to be going all right for you so far, but
yeah, well, look, that's it, you know.
if you're 0-9, there'd be an issue.
Yeah, right. Think of it something else, pal.
And tell us this: if you did enter one of those tournaments, would $1 million be any use to you, or?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's funny because, like, it's funny, them tournaments, like, yeah, like, thinking about the money and that, which is, yeah, like, there you go, like that as well, and but yeah, like that, at the end of it, you become a world champion. You know what I mean? No one can take that away from you. Like, Brendan Loughnane is the 2022 world champion. No one can take that away from him. Whereas, you know, like, whoever's the world champion in the UFC, someone else is going to come along and take that. And again, something like that, no one can take away from you. But, like, say, like, my teammate Lee Hammond, he won the world championships at amateur at 2018. That he's cemented in history as that, you know what I mean? And that, you know, no one can take that away, you know what I mean? There's no defending or and again, I know, like, no matter what, like, you know, there's always going to be the next girl to win the next year, but if that makes sense, like, you know, you've done that, you know, and you've made history, you know, so those things really, really interest me in that as well, you know what I mean? And yeah, like that, I think it'd be brilliant, you know.
Yeah, just Kieran, just before we wrap things up, I just want to sort of touch more on that. Like, obviously PFL do, like, their European tournaments. Myself and Ross were discussing this last week when we had Dara on. Like, they do their PFL European tournaments, and then the winner of that, they'll push into America. Like, if you look at Dakota Teixeira, the way they're after giving her the big push, would you feel like you would be more suited? Like, would you prefer it to be? I know Ross mentioned the money, but would you rather be in a European one and then go into the American one, or would you rather just be straight in the American one?
Oh, like, I mean, doesn't really. I've no preference, to be honest. Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, where I'm at in my career, contract wise and that, I don't think that the Europe one would be an option. Yeah, I think then it would be the going forward. I think, you know, I knew that anyway, re-signing with Bellator. I knew that was the, you know, that was what was mentioned to me. it was like right at the end of this, maybe that could be a possibility, the $1 million tournament, Whereas when I seen it at the time, the bantamweight tournament, the Europe one, I was like, I would, that interests me, but it was kind of like, no, that's already done, and where you're at now with Bellator, it's not an option. So I was like, okay, right, fair enough. So, but as far as of course, obviously, everyone's gonna say you want to jump in straight into the $1 million one, and then that is preference because it's American stuff and it's more coverage. You know what I mean? But that's the deal there. Yeah.
Yeah, you against Sabatello would be great. Ross, in that tournament, Ross, what were we saying the record should sort of be, or how many fights you should have for to maybe be just fit into the European tournament?
See, the thing is, I don't actually like. I was sort of saying if you had like 7 or 8 fights or something, you get in the European one, but I also don't really like capping it as well. Like you can sort of just like tell where someone's at in their career, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I think we may have said 10. Did we say 10 max? Was it?
Well, like maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but like certain people are like different, if that makes sense. Like put it this way, like Paul Hughes, I think was 10-1 or something like that. Like before his last fight, you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't have put him in the European tournament. Like you put him straight into the world tournament. Same with Kieron. I'd be like, no, he needs to be in the world tournament. Like certain people, you see where the trajectory where they are in their career and what they've achieved in their career so far. You're going to put them on a different road.
It just depends, because like that, you look at Dean Garnett there, who are rated very highly. He's in it, and he's a top lad. You know what I mean? So again, just depends. But I suppose that's all. It's all out there, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
We're just trying to make your life a bit less stressful,
Yeah. He's pulling the strings, man. I think he's might have to be my manager, lads.
Jeez, we'll talk to you after this. We'll talk to you off the air. But no, but like for the people tuning in now, you're gonna have to make sure to tune in to watch Kieron compete on the 14th, this Saturday in London. Kieron, is there anything else you want to say to the millions, the millions of Ciaran Clarke fans that are going to be tuning in to watch you compete, bud, and go 10-0?
Yeah. No, I just want to say thanks very much to you two boys. People don't realise the time you're putting into these day, and this is how we get out there. And it's even given us a voice to say this and say thanks very much to all my sponsors and to my team, SBG, the coaches all around me that have been putting the work in. And that's really what this is, the wins, and it's to give back the time that they're putting into us, and again, of course, the support is coming over for me, and the people that draw there,
Amen, baby.
You better believe it.
Kieron, thank you very much for your time, and we'll let you get on with the rest of your day, but
thank you, lads.
Energized Show, up the Irish.
So Ross, that was Ciaran Clarke. How did it feel to be the least holiest man on the show for that episode?
I'm used to being the holiest Joe in the room, but look, Kieron Clarke is a man of faith, and I think it's great to talk to him. He's such an interesting character. He's very unique compared to most other people. His outlook and mindset is brilliant. And look, I look forward to seeing him go in there, get his hand raised, move to 10-0, and then get another step up in competition. I don't know who he's going to have to fight for us to stop asking for more step ups in competition for that guy. Well, only because we rate him so highly.
Well, the thing is, 9-0 is no joke. You know what I mean? Anyone would give their right arm for that. Like, so no, for the people tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe. We also had Darragh Kelly on the show last week. If you want to check that one out as well. This card is looking very interesting, Ross, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very interesting. Would you give this card like more of like an Irish takeover song, or would you say London is calling? Which would you go for, Baz?
You see, to promote the people coming on the show when they're fighting in London, I'll put London's calling.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But
and then when the Irish win, you put the Irish song in it.
Yeah, interesting enough in the main event, Johnny Eblen versus Fabian Edwards is no longer happening on this card. It just said it was postponed, but there was nothing out of either camp nor out of Bellator that actually suggested why it was being postponed or which fighter it was being postponed to, if that makes sense. Which fighter?
Yeah, who pulled out? Like,
yeah. So unless both of them were slightly injured and they both said let's fight on a different day.
Do you think they're putting that on the Francis Ngannou Ferreira card pay-per-view? Potentially
so, but like I don't really see that fight adding that much to that card, to be honest. Also, like, another gripe that I have with PFL Bellator is the amount of belts they have floating around at the moment. They have too many belts. Like, Francis Ngannou was fighting Renan Ferreira, and I don't know what belt is on the line. Is the PFL heavyweight belt? When Renan Ferreira he won like a super fight series belt when he beat Ryan Bader. Like, did he win the Bellator belt? Did he win the PFL belt? I don't know. Too many belts. They need to just have, like, here's the PFL and Bellator heavyweight champion. Yeah, you know what? They could actually call it like the MMA world champion or something like that, because it's like 2 organizations, something like. But like, not everyone can have it. You can't have like 3 people with belts in the same division. Like, I just don't get it.
Hold on. Last week were we not saying they should be making more European belts?
Yeah, but I like the idea of European champion and a world champion. But only one world champion. Not like, here's the PFL lightweight champion. Here's the Bellator lightweight championship. By the way, we're the same organization. Like, those people should then like fight each other and eradicate. Whoever wins, like, gets both belts, except it's made into like a new belt, a PFL belt.
Yeah, because I know Bellator were doing like the Grand Prix champion. So you'd win the, like, say if the whatever division it was, you'd win the Grand Prix. So then you become the champion of that division, but you'd also win the Grand Prix belt as well. So you get 2 belts. Yeah.
There's too many belts. Like, that just makes it actually confusing.
Well, it's too many organizations in one.
Yeah, exactly. Just make everyone just PFL champions, no more Bellator champions, and then just have world champion and then a European champion to have the European stars build into the world stage.
Do you know what? It's easier for even the fighters.
Just put me in charge.
Just put Ross in charge, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, so that's the end of the show, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
The new main event is actually Liam McCourt. She's fighting. Is it Sarah Collins?
Yes.
What's making this fight?
I don't really
as the main event. They should have Dara or Kieran. Like, they should have put one of them in the main event. No.
I know it just wouldn't really be my cup of tea as a main event. In terms of where they're at, like, you know what I mean. Leah's coming off in her last fight. She had a win over Sarah McMahon, which is the best of her career. Previously lost to Kat Zingano, then beat Diana Silva, and then previously that lost to Sinead Kavanagh. So she's like 2-2 in her last 4 fights. Sarah Collins 5-0, like, very young in her career. I think they're putting their whole main event on Liam McCourt. I think obviously she's the A side of the bigger name of the draw, but look, she's been like riddled with controversy at the moment. Obviously, you know, there's, I don't know what other way to say it, but like, there's beef between Ryan Curtis and Liam McCourt at the moment. Obviously,
by the way, like, for people that are probably watching this and like fans of Irish MMA, like, it was, you just couldn't miss this pure gossip last week got on social media. Like,
yeah, well, look, Ryan Curtis, we saw he's over in Colombia, as far as I'm aware.
Hanging out with Rampage,
back walking, which, like, I don't think, love him, hate him, thinking differently of him. Like, I don't think anyone thought that would happen this soon as it has happened. I'm not going to say people, like, well, some people thought it just wouldn't happen at all. But like, I'm pretty shocked that it's happened this quick. But
yeah,
a testament to Ryan's character.
How long ago was that, Ross, when he actually got the injury?
What a guy. I'm going to say it's a little over a year ago.
Was it over a year?
Maybe, give or take. Like, it seems very, very quick anyway.
I thought it would take like 5 years or something to rehab. Like, he was almost doing the Billy Strut there, like, walking.
Yeah, and like, look, the amount of rehab he's doing as well is incredible. It's incredible to see him in the gym lifting the weights. You know what I mean? Like, he's taking it very, very serious. And my whole thing about the Ryan Curtis situation, and like, since the accident and since where he is now, is I was completely enamored with his mental fortitude and how he was just like so positive all the time, and he was adamant that this wouldn't ruin his life or this wouldn't take away from who he is. And like, what he's done and the recovery he's made, like, they're gonna have to like write a book or do a documentary series on it, because like, the journey has been absolutely incredible. You know
And
what
also,
I mean?
he's looked so fresh the whole time as well.
Yeah, and I think that's where the uproar about the Liam McCourt situation has come into account. I think like obviously Ryan, as basically said, you know, the people who were around them when the cameras were there are not the people who were actually supporting them. And he tagged Lee in the post as well. So he basically said when the going got tough, you know, they got going. I'm sure there's, you know, there's two sides to every story, as I say, but like at the end of the day, Ryan Curtis, what he's achieved, like, you know, and I think it's very sad to be foreshadowed by this. And then, you know, I've seen people say all sorts about the GoFundMe on Twitter as well. That,
Jesus, yeah.
you know, money's gone missing from it, and there was a change in ownership of the GoFundMe. Leah obviously originally set it up for Ryan, and now it's in Ryan's name only. So look, you can make of all that if you will. You can read the stuff that's said online and make your own judgments on it. I for one, I'm just going to say that I think it's absolutely incredible what Ryan Curtis has done. I think people should continue to support Ryan on his journey. I think he is an absolute inspiration, and I hope that, you know, he has the financial backing he needs to get back onto his feet and to pay for whatever recovery he has left.
It's crazy how.
Anything you want to say, Basmo? What the way what's called? I think I navigate those waters clearly enough without saying anything too bad.
We're getting cancelled again, man. No, I think we got cancelled already when you said you should take over Bellator. No, it's just from what I've seen and read and heard. I can't believe how he's managed to, like,
yeah. The hearsay is very much in Ryan Curtis's favor, and the hearsay definitely paints Liam McCourt out to be a bad person.
Definitely, yeah. But what I want to say in it as well, I can't believe how he's managed to recover so quickly with not just trying to actually like get back walking, but with all the extras on the side happening. Like, you know what I mean? From money going missing to everything else in between.
Yeah, but he had a breakup in the middle there as well. Like, he's no longer with his partner as well. Like, obviously he has a child with his partner. And like the way you say
it wasn't
so
difficult enough. How could it get any more difficult? How could actually that be any more difficult? Oh, by the way, this is happening as well.
But the thing is, the breakup with his partner happened.
How could you actually believe in like God or like I don't know? How could you just not snap? I know that's the thing is there's actually no other option. You still have to wake up the next day, like you still have to like you have to do something about it. But like weaker people would fold in that situation. But he is a true fighter, and I really can't wait to hear him like speak on it more. I know he was on a podcast recently. I think that was over in Colombia talking about his mindset and stuff. But like unbelievable, like just what a character. And
I don't know if gone through and just like to be so positive still and to still put his best foot forward every single day and now literally be putting his best foot forward is absolutely incredible. Shout out to Ryan. We'll definitely get Ryan on the show at some stage and he can tell it all from his point of view. One thing I do want to be careful of is I don't want us to say too much that it looks like we're saying that we know something factually when we'd want to hear it directly from Ryan as opposed to what fully happened.
Yeah. Well, we're basically talking about what we've seen online.
Yeah.
And what's going around. Well, that's why people are tuning in. Like, I mean, like this is like we can't. If we're doing a weekly show on Irish MMA and this stuff is going on in the scene, we can't just not say anything. Especially the way we've had Derek Kelly on last week, we had Kieron Clark on this week, and they're both fighting on the card where Leah's now promoted to the main event. Like, also very strange that Liam McCourt didn't have a flag on the poster for the event when everyone else had a flag. Like Dara and Kieron had Ireland flags, and Liam McCourt just has a Bellator sign. Just thought that was just a strange thing to have there. Yeah, because they would have done that twice because there was an original post. Yeah, she was co-main event, and then they redone it as her as main event. So, look, very, very strange. We've never. I think we've had Liam McCourt on our show once. We've never been like sort of that close to that friendly with her. Not that's No, we always wish their
any
best
relevance.
skill and
But
stuff.
like,
like,
oh
every-
yeah, I know,
every
yeah, but I'm
fight,
saying like not the same as the way we have Kieran on, or
No.
Sean O'Bannon on, or Danny
No.
on, or you know what I mean.
I think she hated you.
Yeah,
She loves me, but she hated you.
yeah, exactly. So
like all the guests, man.
that was it. But yeah, look,
But nonetheless,
like-
best of skill to all of them this week and every fighter.
yeah,
Okay. Speaking of fighters coming out of Ireland, before we get into UFC 306 this weekend, Danny McCormack, she's making noise online. She wants to get into UFC. Ross, what's going on here, bud?
yeah, she's definitely improved her changing the page skills. It was much better this time than it was the last time.
She's a
So,
pro, man.
shout out.
That's what happens when you win in the Apex.
Yeah, look, she can do no more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever she's been asked to do, she's done it in incredible fashion. Massive Danny McCormack fan. She deserves a UFC contract sooner rather than later. Let's get her signed and let's give her a bit of notice. You know what I mean? Let's not have her fight someone on 2 or 3 days notice type thing. Obviously, again, like if a fight came up in the US, she needs to get a visa, etc. Let's have her fight someone. Like, there's plenty of straw weights, even flyweights. I'd rather see her at strawweight in the UFC that don't have an exciting fighting style as Danny McCormack. They don't get on the mic like Danny McCormack does, and don't have the back of a nation like Danny McCormack does. So, like,
And the back of O'Connor.
yeah, and the back of O'Connor as well. So let's give Danny McCormack a fight and let's give her a camp for it. Whether it be a 4-week camp, a 6-week camp, or an 8-week camp, let's get Danny McCormack a fight before the end of the year, and let's see her get in there and prove to the world what we already know.
Amen, baby.
Amen, baby.
Ross, this also shout out to Ireland's own Sean Brady winning over the weekend as well.
Yeah,
in the
big win
UFC.
for Sean Brady. I think Sean Brady could be next for Ian Machado Gary. What's he now? 17-1 or something like that. Yeah, Sean Brady is he's a big dude. He showed he had shows on the feet, and obviously his wrestling and his top game is very, very strong. But look, to go the distance with Gilbert Burns, and I think it was 50-45 on one or two cards, and then 49-46 on the other. Like, it just goes to show he's a top contender in that division. And I think UFC Dublin, Ian Gary versus Sean Brady would be the ideal main event.
Ireland versus Ireland, baby.
Hook it to my veins.
Speaking of Irish fighters, UFC 306 is this weekend. Sean O'Malley, Ireland's own,
Yes,
is taking
Sean
on
O'Malley
Merab Davashvili in the main event.
Merab's doing some mad stuff, isn't he, in the build of this fight?
He's always doing mad stuff, but like, do I?
Yeah, but he's like posting mad stuff that would make you question, like, what's up with this guy?
Ryan Garcia style, like.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. As long as he doesn't miss weight, that's fine.
Like, Merab has been calling this fight out like non-stop. Remember, even jumping on into the cage where it's sticking on Sean O'Malley's Michael Jackson red jacket. Like he's been wanting this fight for ages, and now it's sort of looking like, I don't know. Is he trying to like play? Are these mind games?
I don't know if they are, but like, put it this way: more people are interested in Merab Davashvili now than they have ever been. So he has us talking about him. As opposed to more people are talking about Merab coming in this fight than they are Sean O'Malley, which is not what we would have expected. I do think. Do you remember McGregor and Aldo did this like face off and the walk down the Vegas Strip or whatever for the promo for UFC? I think it was 189 at the time, but obviously they fought at 194. I think they should do that, except like they meet outside the Sphere, and like Sean O'Malley walks down and like he should have like a sombrero or something on, like something sort of Mexican, and then like Merab should walk down wearing the red jacket, and they should like sort of have like a movie style face off.
Sean O'Malley's way taller than him, though.
Doesn't matter. They're gonna face off at weigh-ins. Like they can't be like, oh no, actually he's much taller than you, so we won't do that.
What is it about Sean O'Malley these days? Because you know what, like his interviews are never really like blow you away, really. Like, and he's not like that comedic. Like his skits and stuff are funny, yes, but like on the mic, he's never really that funny.
I think it's the look, his skill inside the cage that are the two things that actually get the fans excited for him. Like he's exciting fighter.
Yeah.
But then I also think like he's one of those ones where like from the offset he got the superstar rub. Like Snoop Dogg gave him the rub from the offset. And I think people have just sort of clamored there ever since. And I think he splits the fan base. Half the fan base think he's this unbelievably skilled fighter, striker that is like incredible. And then the other, I think, almost think are waiting for him to nearly be fraud checked. They've been like, he'll lose at some stage, and people are like, I told you he was never that good. You know what I mean? So I think that, but also he definitely got the UFC push to the title. Like when you look at the last 5 people Merab is beaten versus the last 5 people Sean O'Malley's beaten, Merab's list is far more impressive.
Yeah, but the people were saying Aljamain Sterling is probably the greatest bantamweight of all time, and he absolutely dusted him.
Yeah, look, I think is there a sort of recency bias to that? Probably. Like he doesn't have the. I feel like he didn't beat the same caliber opponents that like Dominic Cruz beat. You know what I mean? I feel like Aljo was good, but I don't think he was complete. I felt that there was holes in his game. His stand up was like had a few more holes in it. I think there's a lot of stylistic fighters at 135 at the moment, like your Sean O'Malley, like Merab, like even like Nurmagomedov is like another style fighter. Corey Sandhagen's another stylistic fighter, like where they're evidently better at one aspect of the game than the other.
But nonetheless, people were still saying Sterling was the GOAT. Like, so I know we can look back and be like, he looked like a deer in headlights, but like.
But I think
was Sean O'Malley's first.
Dillashaw was the GOAT, but then like they ruled him out of the GOAT conversation because he was on steroids.
Yeah. Well, no, people always said Dominic Cruz. I think people always had Dominic Cruz ahead of TJ Dillashaw. Even though I was a massive fan of Dillashaw. Sure, we were at his after party in New York. What a night that was. Jeez. Can't speak about that.
Yeah, and like, look.
We'll get cancelled if we talk about that night. Again.
Yeah. I just think that division is almost like a bit of a funny one almost to talk about GOATs because like
Kieron Clark needs to be in this division, Ross. That's what I have to say. What happens if Sean O'Malley does Merab then? Is it just going to be like, oh, Merab, just this, like he was overhyped?
No, I don't think so. I think if anything, they'll probably say, oh, he like he had the cut and then like he was out drinking beer. They'll be like, was Merab taking this serious? That's what they'll say.
There's always something to say, isn't it?
Yeah, there's always a built-in excuse for one fan base versus the other. Like some people say Ireland actually beat England 2-0 the other day when Grealish and Roy scored.
Man, I was only saying there, I asked a couple of people, I was like, do you think anyone actually bet that Grealish and Royce would score against Ireland, they'd win 2-0? Because that's like such a joke you put in your WhatsApp chats. And do you think anyone actually bet on that? Whoever did, absolute genius, bro. Mystic Mac. But bringing this back full circle, Ross, who do you fancy to win? The Sugar Show or Merab Dvalishvili?
I'm going to say Merab. I think if I'm putting my money on the line, I think I'm going to say Merab.
I'm going to go Sean O'Malley. He's just there's something when he fights.
I think the UFC's a better marketing place if Sean O'Malley's champ.
Who do you think are okay, give us 5 fighters in the UFC that when you watch them fight, you can just feel the energy in the arena. So you can say Connor. That's one.
I think Pereira has that now.
Right. So you have Connor. So you take him out. There's 4.
Okay.
So
Pereira. I'll give you 5 outside of Connor because I feel like everyone feels it for Connor.
Yeah. Okay.
Pereira, Sean O'Malley, John Jones. I know some people would think that this is like a bit rowing, but I feel like there's a different atmosphere when Paddy Pimblett fights. I feel like that actually gets very sort of like tense. Like everyone's like, what's going to happen? And I would have maybe said previously Adesanya, but like I don't think so. I don't think he has that buzz about him anymore. I'm just trying to go through the champions. Pantoja, not really. I'd say Sean O'Malley will probably be next up there now, to be honest. But I also think Ilia Topuria also has the potential for that to happen as well if he can beat Max Holloway. I feel like he could get that aura, as the kids say these days.
So you're after saying John Jones. Oh, yeah, okay. Jones, Pereira, O'Malley, and Paddy Pimlet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 4. And then Connor's obviously 1. You're going to give us one more. Would you put Chimaev in there?
Yeah, probably. Chimaev is someone who's going to fight and you're just like not going to miss it.
Yeah. So right, if well, obviously O'Malley's fighting this weekend, but like, if you could get tickets to, well, obviously we're taking out Connor. Like, it must be so annoying for him. It's like, who's the GOAT? But take out Connor. Like, he's just like ruled out of every conversation, right? But you go right. If you get tickets to any event that's happening next week, right? And it could be John Jones fight, Pereira fight, O'Malley. Really?
Yeah, well, like, I've seen so many of the best fighters fight. I've never seen John Jones fight. So, like, I miss Anderson Silva, saw GSP, saw McGregor. So, like, John Jones would be one on the list. I'd be like, right, I want to see them before he retires.
Say if you never saw any of them fight.
I've seen Paddy the Baddy fight.
Yeah, but say if you never saw them fight ever.
I'd still be pick John Jones.
Man, you are boys. Take them glasses off and stick the American ones on.
Maybe Pereira.
I don't know what my answer would be. I think until Chimaev, like do you know what? I'm just gonna go. Oh, I'm gonna say. I just, you know what? There's just something about Paddy fights when the atmosphere is there. Like, it does come down to like the atmosphere and like you know what I mean. Like
yeah, Paddy be the best fan experience, like especially from a European fan point, to be like you.
Yeah, and then like but like also it like who they're fighting does play a part in it as well. Like if it was John Jones against Tom Aspinall,
you want to see Poatan. Yeah, but you also like you'd love to see Poatan versus John Jones as well.
Oh yeah,
I'd actually like to see that fight at heavyweight and like just how like neither of them have to cut weight, just see how it goes.
But Jones has fight Aspinall.
Yeah, be up for that one as well.
Would you rather see? Oh,
what?
So you'd rather see John Jones against
Poatan or Aspinall?
Yeah.
At the moment, Aspinall, just because like that fight's not happening.
Yeah, but then you get like two mad sort of Mackies. Tom Aspinall's like so sound. You could be like a taxi driver or something. He's just like a buzz. Like
Jade came across a picture of Tom Aspinall the other day and goes, "Oh, have you seen this guy before? I think he's good at the UFC." And I was like, yeah, that's Tom Aspinall. I go, he's the champ. And then he was like, "Oh, have you ever met him?" And then I was like, here's us with him in London. Here's us with him in London again. Here's him on our podcast in London. She was like, "No way, that's cool." So like nonchalant, being like, "No way."
Do you know what? You actually sort of look like him a bit, don't you?
Yeah, he's a bit handsomer than me.
You told me to say that as well, man. That's hilarious. I'm already messing, man.
The Irish Aspinall.
Same division. Jesus. Right. So who are you going for in this fight to win the bantamweight world title, Ross?
The flyweight or the bantamweight?
Bantamweight. You're going
Marab. I said Marab, man.
Right, grand. Well, like I had to bring it full circle. Jeez, people don't know what's going on.
I'll go with Marab and then Grasso.
I'm going to go Sean O'Malley, and then because Paddy McCurry is Team Grasso, I'm going to go Grasso. Also on the card, Brian Ortega is taking on Diego Lopez, and we were saying last week, not 100% mad in the card. Also, I was watching the MMA Guru talk about this card as well, and he was saying, he was going nuts by the way, but he was saying that there's no fight over 155 pounds.
Interesting. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, either did I.
Get some big dogs in there, quick.
Let the big dogs eat, bro.
Speaking of big dogs, big win at the weekend, Basmo. Big Trev McKengo. Trevor, he was having a bit of back and forth with his opponent all week, which I think actually was great because it actually added a bit of hype to his fight. That was probably the most hyped fight in the card. I know some people say Curtis Campbell, who fought in the main event, the Pink Panther, as they call him, is a very sort of unique individual and has his own star power. But for an Irish guy to go over to fight over there and then make the most amount of noise come fight week, I thought that was very, very impressive. And then the way he fought as well, he was almost like a Nick Diaz-esque style. You know, there was plenty of punches and bunches, plenty of volume in there. 1 or 2 big body shots, so it was totally unfazed. I think his opponent was obviously game while he was in there. But look, I'll be honest, I felt like he just came into the fight, his opponent, out of shape. I'm like, it seems like he did it on purpose almost to make heavyweight. He was coming up from welterweight. I think he gained 90 pounds from his last fight to this fight. Not something anyone ever advised. But I don't want to take anything away from Trevor McKengo. What a fight. What a debut, a pro. I think it's one of the best pro debuts we've seen in a while, Basmo.
Yeah,
We're up there with the best.
It was good back and forth. The only like ship was that it was on the exact same time Ireland were playing England in football. Like, you know.
Yeah, but I suppose in terms of, you know, traction,
that's what
like he seems to be doing very well considering it was on at that time. So shout out to Big Trev.
Yeah, C-Mac Zone, and then also
C-Mac
shout out
Zone.
to Armin Hersig, who got his first professional win as well. He was the current jerk, and Trevor McKengo was on after.
Yeah,
he won by
what's called
terrific
absolutely
TKO.
ferocious elbow by Hersig. I feel like he really needed that win. After a stint in Octagon, he was 0-2 going into the fight. Obviously, he had a win in Octagon as well that didn't count. So, look, I think Arman, like a bantamweight, he looks really big. He looks rangy. He looks dangerous that weight class. So, hopefully, the move to Manchester top team does him well. Hopefully, he puts away a few distractions that he had in Ireland, and he can just be the best mixed martial artist he can be over there.
Yes, like here. Then. Just before we look at your fighting championships that's on this Sunday, we have to give a shout out first of all to Nathan Fletcher, who won his UFC debut. Shout out to O'Meal Brown, who won the 50k at Cage Warriors 176 Glasgow. Shout out to George Hardwick as well, who won in Glasgow. Anyone else, Ross, in that Glasgow card?
Sean Clancy Jr. as well, so I think it deserves a mention. He looks like an animal. And Reece McKeown got back in the win column as well.
Yeah.
They're the ones for me, bud.
Yeah, and then like needless to say, we mentioned earlier, Bellator London is this Saturday, same night before UFC 306. Lee Hammond will also be fighting on WoW Fighting Championships in Spain. That's going to be on UFC Fight Pass as well. Make sure to check that out. Ross, before we wrap things up, your fighting championships on this Sunday up in Newry, the 15th. Is what fights on this card are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, we are seeing another pro debut this weekend. Jess Paolo is going to fight against Maga, and that fight will take place at a catch weight of 73 kilos. We've been waiting to see Jess Paolo make his pro debut for a while. I'll be interested to see will he mix things up stylistic-wise. I think his style at amateur looked like it would be a great style to throw more elbows, especially in the grappling exchanges. So I want to see how that'll go. I would expect Jess to get the win. That's no offense to Maga, but I just feel like out of the two of them, he had the better amateur career. And then since turning pro, I don't think things have gone too great for Maga. So we'll see what the story is for him. He has picked up a win at Euro before, but I just think Jess Paolo is the better of the two. And then like there's some unbelievable fights on the card from your Decky McAleen has put on a great job picking out some unbelievable fights. So I'm just gonna call a few of them out as I see them here. So Carl McConway, absolute veteran of the Irish amateur game, is fighting Shane Mullen. So that's actually going to be another pro bout. Two lads making their debut, two very seasoned veterans on the amateur scene. Also on the card, we have Matthew O'Rourke fighting there. He's always exciting as well. Kevin Keogh, who just won the Akuma title there, he's fighting Brendan Brannigan. And that's one definitely not to miss. Ava Cruz versus Chloe Crozier. Chloe just had an unbelievably good fight. She didn't get her hand raised against Kyle O'Sullivan, but that's one definitely not to be missed. Shake Leland versus Henry Lecca at flyweight are two of the best flyweights in the country. And someone else who will also be looking out at that one will be Ben Matten, is fighting Ricky Durahujo. Maybe a win there for Ben could get him a title fight. And then Alex Keogh is also fighting Ocean Daly in a featherweight fight at the card as well. Alex Keogh is finishing everyone in the first round. Can Ocean Daly stop that high train? We will see come fight night. Great night of fights by Decky McAleen and the guys up at Euro. I can't wait to see it, Basil.
Yeah, well, as we were saying, hopefully some of these guys make big noise up in Newry, and pushes their careers on. I think it's even more important for the likes of Jess and the winner of Carmel Conway versus Shane Mullen. That's very important. So like if they're listening now, like lads, that's very important for you. But like also, as you said, the amateurs as well. But we're looking forward to checking that out on Sunday.
Absolutely.
I think that covers absolutely everything for what's in store for the week coming. For the people tuning in now as well, we will be at Callum Walsh's fight on Friday the 20th of September. So that's Friday week. That will also be the same night as Cage Warriors 177 Unplugged. So for Conor McCarthy, Solomon Simon, and Adam Shelley are going to be on that card. The 21st, which is a Saturday, EFC 2 goes down in Cork. Anthony Joshua actually fights Dubois that night as well. And Cage Warriors 178 Manchester's on that night. So far, James Webb, Dar Ward, and Matthew Friel will be on that card as well, bud. Ross, also your birthday is on the 18th as well. How could I forget? Jeez.
Man, I thought you would have forgotten, and I wouldn't have had to deal with all the birthday messages that I have to get back to.
The big 5-0, bro.
Yeah, 50 bud. Can't wait.
And we might have a
51st birthday.
We might have a very special guest next week.
Yeah,
it's closer now than ever.
Yeah, could be the biggest one of all time. Who knows? Depending on the way you look at it.
We actually had Sean O'Malley on the show before as well. I was thinking about linking that at the very, very end of this show. Although, like, it'd be weird looking back at that.
Yeah, say that show.
Not leave that show yet. Yeah, I think you're a fan.
Right, well, guys, if you listen to this absolute dribble at the end, thanks for listening. And make sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always, stay energized.
Energized Show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.